Hello everyone, this is the second lecture on open channel flow. In the last lecture we have seen syllabus of this subject, introduction of open channel flow, geometrical parameters and different types of flow that occurs in open channel. Now we come to velocity distribution in open channel. As we have seen the velocity distribution in case of pipe flow, it is parabolic. The velocity at the boundary of the pipe is 0 and it increases gradually and becomes maximum at the center, and then again it reduces. Clear? In similar way, in case of open channel, the velocity is 0 at the boundary. Here you can see the velocity is 0 at the boundary, and as we move away from the boundary the velocity increases. The interesting thing in velocity distribution in case of open channel is that the maximum velocity occurs at a certain depth below the free surface of water. Here you can see here the velocity is increasing gradually and it attains a maximum value at certain depth below the free surface. Okay, and this depth is known as dip. This dip is a function of aspect ratio, and aspect ratio is the ratio of depth to width of channel. As the aspect ratio increases, the dip also increases. Okay, here we can see one example. Suppose the depth of flow is same and one channel is having a small width and one channel with large width. Okay, so in this case the d upon b value will be more because the depth is same in both the cases, and here d upon b will be less because width is higher in this case. But here we will see the magnitude of dip will be more in case of narrow channel and the magnitude of dip will be less in case of wider channel, and both are having same depth of flow. Clear? Now look at this figure. This figure represent the velocity distribution across the channel. One more thing here in these figures, these lines are called isovels. Okay, what is isovel? Isovels are the lines which are produced by joining the points of velocities of same magnitude. Okay, so here you can see the isovels in case of rectangular channel, trapezoidal channel, triangular channel and circular channel, and this figure represents the velocity distribution at the mid of the channel section. Clear? Now come to this figure. It is found that the average velocity is the average of v 0.2 and v 0.8. What is v 0.2? This is the velocity at a depth 0.2 times the total depth of flow. In similar way, v 0.8 you can define. Okay, and this average velocity occurs at a depth 0.6 times the total depth of flow. This average velocity can also be represented by KVS, where K is a coefficient and its value ranges between 0.8 and 0.9. Clear? This value, these values depends upon the channel type of channel section. Pressure distribution. To understand pressure distribution in open channel in a systematic way, let us consider several possible cases, starting with simplest one and then proceeding progressively to complex situation. So first of all, we consider static condition. Let us consider a horizontal channel in which the fluid is in stationary condition. Okay, and consider a liquid column of depth y and cross sectional area dA. Now how many forces will act in this liquid column? The weight of this liquid column W, that will act in vertically downward direction. W, that is equal to, weight is equal to unit weight multiplied by volume. So unit weight is rho g multiplied by volume. Volume is y into dA. And let's consider the pressure intensity at the bottom of liquid column is small p. So pressure force at this face will be equal to P into dA. Now resolve forces in vertical direction. W minus P dA is equal to 0. Why? Because there is no movement in vertical direction and fluid is in stationary condition. Clear? So the resultant of the force in vertical direction will be 0. Rho G y dA minus P dA is equal to 0. dA will be cancelled and P is equal to rho G y. Okay, so this is the expression of pressure distribution, pressure intensity at the bottom of liquid column. Now look at this expression here. Rho is constant and G is constant, so P is proportional to Y. Now as the Y will increase, P will increase. Clear? And the maximum power of Y is 1, so the distribution of the pressure will be linear. Okay, this is the pressure distribution, and this kind of distribution of pressure is called hydrostatic pressure distribution. Clear? Now come to second case. Let us consider a horizontal channel in which liquid is flowing with a velocity v. Here we are assuming that there is no acceleration in the direction of flow. Flow velocity is parallel to the channel bottom, and also the velocity is uniform across the channel section. Means the streamlines are parallel to each other. Okay, now since there is no acceleration in the direction of flow, means the resulting force in the direction of flow, means in horizontal direction, will be 0. And if we resolve the forces in vertical direction, then again the result will come out to be P is equal to rho G y. Okay, means in this case also the pressure distribution will be hydrostatic pressure distribution. Clear? Now next case is parallel flow in sloping channel. Let us consider a channel with a sloping floor having slope of the bed with horizontal theta. Liquid is flowing with a velocity v. Again here we are assuming that the acceleration in the direction of flow is 0. The velocity is uniform across the section and it is parallel to the bed of the channel, means streamlines are parallel. So the resulting force in the direction of flow will be 0. Now how many force will act in this liquid column? First the weight that will act in vertically downward direction, W, that is equal to rho G D. Suppose the cross sectional area is delta A of this liquid column. Clear? And the force, pressure force at the bottom of the liquid column is P into delta A. Clear? Now resolve the forces in this direction, means perpendicular to the bed of the channel. So that will be W cos theta minus P into delta A is equal to 0. Why it is 0? Because the liquid, because there is no movement in the direction perpendicular to the bed of flow. Substitute value of W, rho g d delta A cos theta minus P delta A is equal to 0. So delta A will be cancelled. P is equal to rho g d cos theta. Okay. Now let us consider a depth in the vertical direction of this liquid column is y. Then the relation between this y and d will be d is equal to y cos theta. Clear? This is W cos theta. Why? Because this W, this W is in vertical direction and this is the normal direction and this angle is W. So the component of W in this direction will be W cos theta. Okay. In a similar way, we can find the relation between y and d. Now substitute the value of d in this equation, then P will be equal to rho g y cos square theta. Clear? This is the expression of pressure distribution in case of parallel flow in sloping channel. This, remember, this pressure distribution is not hydrostatic pressure distribution. Why? Because here one more term is coming, that is cos square theta. However, the bed slope we provide to the channel is usually very small. So cos theta is approximately equal to 1 we can consider. So this d will be approximately equal to y. Okay, so substitute all these values in this equation, then P will be equal to rho g y. Okay, again this is the hydrostatic pressure distribution. So ultimately the pressure distribution in open channel flow is hydrostatic, provided the bed slope is small, the velocity is uniform across the section and parallel to the bed of the channel, and acceleration in the direction of flow is 0. Now we come to equation of continuity. Equation of continuity is based on the law of conservation of mass, which is also known as mass principle. So firstly we look at the continuity equation for steady flow. For steady flow, continuity equation is Q is equal to A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2 and so on. That is very well known to us. Okay, means in open channel at any section in open channel flow, the discharge remains constant. Means suppose this is section 1-1, this is section 2-2. So here A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. Clear? Next we consider unsteady flow. In the unsteady flow of incompressible fluids, if we consider a reach of the channel, the continuity equation states that the net discharge going out of the reach is equal to the rate of depletion of the storage within it. Means whatever discharge is going out of the reach that we have considered is equal to the rate at which the storage within the reach is depleting. Okay, or in other words we can say the net discharge coming within the reach is equal to the rate of increase of storage within the reach. Okay, this is also the statement of continuity equation in case of unsteady flow. Suppose at section 2 discharge Q2 is greater than discharge at section 1. So in this case the outgoing flow will be more than the incoming flow. Okay, and as a result of this the water surface will start falling. If delta x is the distance between section 1 and section 2, then change in discharge with respect to length of the channel, we can write it as dou q upon dou x. So the net discharge going out of the reach, that is q2 minus q1, is dou q upon dou x into delta x. Now the storage volume within the reach that we consider means the volume between section 11 and 22 we can express by A into delta x. This is the storage volume. Now the rate of decrease of storage. Rate of decrease of storage, that is equal to minus delta x dou A upon dou y upon dou t. As we know, more discharge is going out of the reach, that's why there is decrease in storage. Okay, here minus sign we are taking because here we are finding the decrease in storage. And why this term is coming dou A upon dou y upon dou t? Because y is a function of t and A is a function of y. Clear? The depth is changing with respect to time and area is changing with respect to depth of flow. We know that dou A upon dou y is nothing but top width. Okay, so the rate of decrease of storage will be equal to rate of decrease of storage will be equal to minus delta x t dou y upon dou t. Now from the statement of continuity equation, by continuity equation statement, the net discharge going out of the reach, that is equal to dou q upon dou x delta x, okay, is equal to the rate of depletion of storage that we have find out as delta x minus t minus delta x t dou y upon dou t. So this will cancel out. So final equation of continuity in case of unsteady flow will come out to be dou q upon dou x plus t dou y upon dou t is equal to 0. So this is the final continuity equation in case of unsteady flow. Remember, these continuity equations are valid for prismatic as well as non-prismatic channel. Energy equation. You might have recalled the energy equation in case of pipe flow. What principle we used to determine the energy equation in pipe flow? There we used Bernoulli's principle, and the statement of Bernoulli's principle is the total energy at any point is equal to the summation of datum head, pressure head and kinetic head. Clear? So in similar way, for open channel flow we have to use Bernoulli's principle, provided the flow in open channel should be steady and it should be one dimensional. This figure represents the steady varied flow in open channel. Suppose we have to find the total energy at a point A which is situated at a depth d from the free surface of water. Clear? So suppose this is HA, total energy. So this will be equal to datum head, that is ZA, means the distance from datum to the point A. Pressure head is d cos theta. Why we are taking d cos theta? Because the energy in terms of head is always calculated in vertical direction. Okay, so since this d is in the direction normal to the bed, so we have to find its component in vertical direction. Clear? So this is d cos theta, and the kinetic head is alpha v square upon 2g. Here alpha is kinetic energy correction factor. Why here pressure head is d cos theta, whereas in case of pipe flow the pressure head was represented by P upon rho g. Okay, so here we have already found that P is nothing but rho g y or d and divided by rho g will cancel out, that is equal to y. Okay, so in due to the pressure distribution in open channel is hydrostatic pressure distribution, that's why the pressure head we can represent in terms of depth of flow only. Clear? So here what we are using is the depth of flow in vertical direction, that is nothing but d cos theta. This total energy is same for all values of d from 0 to y. Suppose y is the total depth of flow which is measured at a direction normal to the bed. So for all values of d from 0 to y, the energy will remain this one only. Okay, means at this section OAB, at any point if you find the total energy, that will remain same. Okay, so suppose the total depth is y, then at any section where the depth of flow is y and the bed elevation is z from the datum, then the total energy we can represent by H is equal to z plus y cos theta plus alpha v square upon 2g. Okay, this is the energy equation which is applicable at any section of the open channel. Clear? In figure, this is the total energy line. Suppose we consider this point. This point represents the total energy at a section which passes through the point 1. Okay, and remember this section is normal to the bed. Okay, this point is not representing the total energy at any point we are taking at this section. Okay, so this point represents the total energy at this section, and it is passing through the point 1. In similar way, this point representing the total energy at this section. Clear? So for example, at section 1 we have to write the energy equation. Then it will be H1 is equal to Z1 plus Y1 cos theta plus alpha V1 square upon 2g. In similar way, at section 2 the total energy will be Z2 plus Y2 cos theta plus alpha V2 square divided by 2g. Okay, here the H1 will be greater than H2 and H2 minus H1, that is equal to loss of energy head. Okay, and usually this loss of energy head is due to loss of head due to friction, and loss of head due to formation of eddies. Clear? The head loss due to friction occurs due to the roughness of the boundary in the channel, and usually the eddies are found in non-prismatic channels. Okay, for prismatic channels HE is equal to 0 and the total loss is due to friction only. Clear? So this was all about the energy equation in case of open channel flow. And one more thing is that usually the bad slope in the channel we provide is generally very close to 0. Okay, this theta is very small, it is approximately 0. So that's why this cos theta is approximately equal to 1. That's why this energy equation becomes H is equal to Z plus Y plus alpha V square upon 2G. Clear? Means the depth of flow we generally take in vertical direction instead of in the direction normal to the bed. Clear? Because the bed slope is very small. Next is momentum equation. Momentum equation is based on the principle that the total forces acting on a fluid mass at a particular direction is equal to the rate of change of momentum in that direction. Based on the Newton's second law, F is equal to ma, and this we can write it as F is equal to m dv upon dt. F is equal to this m we can keep inside the derivative term dmv divided by dt. So what this term represent? mv is momentum, okay, and dmv upon dt is rate of change of momentum. So the total force acting on a fluid mass is equal to the rate of change of momentum. Clear? Now we know the rate of change of momentum, we can write it as rho q v2 minus v1. That we all know very well. We have studied this thing in fluid mechanics as well as in HHM. So F is equal to rho q v2 minus v1, and F is equal to this we can write it as rho q v2 minus rho q v1. If we want to introduce the momentum correction factor, then this will be beta 2 rho q v2 and beta 1 rho q v1. F is equal to m2 minus m1. This m2 and m1 called momentum flux. So how many suppose we consider a flow in open channel, and this flow is steady varied flow. Here how many forces are acting in this control volume? In this figure C, here we are considering the control volume between section 1 and 2. So in this fluid mass, how many forces will be acting? So the first force is the weight of the fluid, which act in vertically downward direction, the pressure force at this section, and the pressure force at this section, and the frictional force opposite to the direction of flow. Okay, now we are resolving the force in the direction of flow. So the component of weight in the direction of flow we are representing by F4. So the forces in the direction of flow we are taking, so this will be F1 minus F2 plus F4 minus F3, that will be equal to momentum flux m2 minus m1. This is your momentum equation. Clear? We will go for more discussion on momentum equation while we discuss the hydraulic jump. Okay, there we use this momentum equation.